Right now, 92% of the breweries in the United States are owned by someone who is white. That trend holds true here in Colorado, too. So as we get ready for the Great American Beer Festival, which opens tonight, 9 News reporter Victoria Valenzuela found history plays a large role in the industry's diversity or lack of it.
My husband, Jesse, and I decided to start Wagwan back in 2020.
And she lost her job in 2020, and I also lost my job.
The pandemic provided a new beginning for Jesse and Harsha.
Our first date was at Avery Brewing Company in Boulder, so it's a very full circle that we own a brewery.
One of just a handful of Black-owned breweries in Colorado.
Wagwan means what's going on or what's up in Patois.
Wagwan is fighting to bring inclusion.
It's the vibe that we wanted to create for the brewery.
And diversity to the beer scene.
And we realized that there wasn't a lot of differentiation.
Not only in their name,
we decided to use my Jamaican heritage as our differentiation factor,
but in their business model.
We work a lot with other women-owned and minority-owned businesses for taproom pop-ups, for any specific donations that we do throughout the year. So definitely trying to support our community that we're both from, but also make sure that their voices are heard and they have a space to come together if they need it.
Breaking barriers for other BIPOC business owners.
We both want to hold the door open, and not just hold the door open, we want to take the door off its hinges.
An effort to build community in an industry driven mostly by white business owners.
It's not craft beer, it's just the United States, right? We're just seeing it in craft beer.
Dr. Jackson-Beckham is the Brewers Association Equity and Inclusion Partner.
It was a little bit of a perfect storm, right? That's kind of happened over the last couple of decades.
She says the issue within the brewing industry goes back to the microbeer revolution.
60s and 70s, that is the height of the civil rights movement.
School desegregation made way for redlining and lending discrimination.
And what you see is a lot of folks, men of means, and largely, white men who are able to kind of open that door.
And decades later, lending still favors those with generational wealth, leaving out those without.
And that makes starting up a capital-intensive business really hard.
We've had to just keep plugging along and trying to find community loans and microloans.
Harsha and I still work full-time, and that's been pretty much a requirement.
Despite the issues facing the industry, Dr. J says Wagwan is on the right track.
And there's been some great examples of folks who have done some really unique collaboration work to, defray cost by sharing it with other people, or using kind of, creative methods to get, up and running.
She says the key to success is connection.
So my advice really is talk to folks.
And putting people first, which is what you see when you walk into Wagwan.
We center it around our staff. We're an inviting space. We don't discriminate. We have a very diverse staff.
We try to accept any and everyone that's interested in learning about beer and wants to be a part of the industry.
By putting people first, her hope is the connections lead to a more inclusive, diverse industry.
I really believe that diversity, this kind of healthy, flourishing mix of people that work together is an outcome, right? It's what happens after you have done some other work.
And diversity leads to a broader change in brewing.
That is kind of what has gotten us to this point, knowing that we are striving for inclusivity in all ways, so making sure that we're doing that every day.
For 9 News, I'm Victoria Valenzuela.
What a cool brewery.
That's an awesome story.
Yeah, and the story was great. So while the owners of Wagwan have struggled to find support, Dr. J says the Brewers Association does have a lot of programs available to help brewery owners at every stage of the business.
Yeah, there's a mentorship program, a grant program, and a new program called Thrive. That's aimed at helping brewery owners find balance in DE&I efforts, wellness programs, as well as HR support. And tomorrow here on 9 News Mornings, Brewing Diversity Part 2, educational programs to better encourage diversity and inclusion amongst the future generations of brewers. Can't wait for that.
That is awesome. Yeah, great job.